Hello, hello. This is Rod, Live Within Your Means. Hey, how do you get your apples to last the longest? Most of you have already picked your apples, and a lot of you have a fridge full of apples, or you've got them in different places. This is the drawer out of my fridge, and I've got all these other apples too. How do you get them to last the longest? Well, you know the old saying, uh, one bad apple spoils the bunch, right? Well, that's really true. When you get apples that have something bad on them, here's an apple that's got, a part of it that's going. Here's another big apple that's got a bruise on it. Here's another small apple that's got some type of damage, like a wormhole or damage from a branch on it. This one's definitely got a wormhole in it. And, oh, look at the other side. There's more damage there. Okay. So what do? You sort your apples. You go through, you get your best ones, and you put them in the fridge. And then you get the apples that are not quite so good. And what I've done here is I take the big ones, these big ones that have got things wrong with them, and here's a few more, right? Here's another big one. Here's another, relatively big one. And what I'm doing is I want to get the ones that are going to be the easiest to cut up. And that's got a little bit of bruise on it. The ones that are easiest to cut up, you get those and you cut them up because they're nice and big, and you can cut those up to make apple pie, to make apple crisp. And then those that are small, these are easy just to eat around the bad part, any bad parts on them. So what I do is I've got these set out. This is starting to wrinkle. That needs to be used. This in here, oops. Dropped one on the floor. Oh! Anyway, here's another one that's starting to wrinkle. Needs to be used. So those are apples that need to be used. And it's easier to cut up the big ones. So that's what I do. Is I cut up the big apples and the small ones. So all these that are pretty big, I'm going to put these in the bowl here. As I'm trying to lift this tripod instead of turn it. All these, I'm going to cut them up. And the small ones here, I'm going to leave those on the counter because I eat a lot of apples. And here's another one, pretty good size that needs to be cut up. I don't even want to mess with these little teeny ones, right? I just want to have those out where I'll eat those the next few days because I eat several apples a day, several small ones easily. And here I'd already been cutting some apples up. Those are the bad parts, the cores and parts that I cut up. And I've I've been nibbling away on all those that I cut up, to be honest with you. So these apples here, and I'll show you, I'm sure a lot of you have done plenty of this. There's some bad parts there and kind of a funny looking apple. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this up and I leave the apple peelings on there. Why? Well, there's a lot of reasons why. And there's flavonoids. The truth of the matter is the skin on your apple has a lot of fiber in it. And that dietary fiber is something that will help your health. And there's a number of reasons for it. And if you'll watch, I will be putting out another video real soon talking about the reasons that I leave the apple skin on. So here's those bad parts. I'm just going to cut that right off. And these big chunks of apple, or chunks that I'm going to cut up. So here I just cut this part on the core, right, into the bowl full of the bad stuff that's going to go in the garbage. I'm going to pick up these seeds, throw them in there. Here's another good part of this apple. In it goes. So I just get all these apples together. If you look at that, wow. See that mold in the middle of the apple? There's bad things there. Once something gets in there, it brings in spores, it brings in germs, and you don't want that stuff. That's not very appealing, right? But the rest of this piece is, right? Because it's not all the apple's not bad. That's a little bit bruised. I'm going to just include that in the stuff that I cut up to make apple crisp. And hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I don't claim to be a great videographer. I'm not. And but we get the bad parts here, and all I'm doing is cutting that up and taking it off of there. So I get a pile of those and I chop them up, right? Because they're gonna, I leave those apple peelings on, and those can be cooked right into the apple pie, into the apple crisp. It's very easy to do, and I've been doing this for a lot of years. So anyhow, use your good apples. I should say, cut up your big apples, put them aside so they're not in there making the rest of them go bad. Put all your bad parts in here where you're going to huck that. All this stuff can go into apple pie or apple crisp. And so here's the rest of this bowl here, all these big ones that I'm going to be cutting up. And the apples in here are really good ones that are going to last, right? They're not bad. As I put this drawer back in the fridge, those will be lasting a long time. I will be eating those after I've eaten all these small ones. So that's how you make your apples last. Use your bad ones first and be smart about it. You know, you don't want to cut up all those teeny little apples. Some of these are really small, right? But I can take a few bites out of that, throw the apple core in there, and that's the way to use your apples. That way they last you a long time. It saves you a lot of money, and this channel is all about saving money. This is Rod. Live within your means. And thank you for, by the way, putting some comments. Share your thoughts down below on things that you do. That'll help others. And this is Rod. Live within your means, and have a wonderful day.